What's up, YouTube? It's Mountain Metal Anthony, and it's a day in the life of a mobile welder. Today we got a few repairs to do. Got 2, possibly 3 repairs. I'm in my brand new big truck, so let's see if we can't take care of them. Going way back in here for this one. This one's off the beaten trail. A lot of cool houses back here though. And this is just randomly in the middle of the neighborhood. I have no fucking idea what that is. It looks like an underground bunker. But yeah, just literally in the middle of this neighborhood like that. Super weird. I've never been up this way. So I think that is the machine we're fixing. Some big iron today, boys. No, it's probably just some 1/4 inch. But, oh, yep, there it is right there. The cracks on the backhoe frame. I didn't know the location of them, but I guess the customer tried to weld them up and it just didn't work out. So here we are. Glad he put it over the gravel, not too much over the grass, so we hopefully won't set the place on fire. Yeah, just some 1/4 inch. Looks like he had a rough time with some cellulose rod, trying to put that back together. Not a big deal. It's just going to make it take a little longer because we're going to have to cut a wider V out of it. But this really shouldn't have broken. I wonder what happened. Maybe dragging it through the dirt or something when they're driving. But not a big deal. We'll weld it up and it should be good as new. Well, that was one of the more difficult batteries to find. I had to trace the starter wire back to try to figure out where it was. So it was behind this little dashboard thing. If you're ever working on an LL111 tractor, you know where the battery is. So we're gonna gouge that out and then weld it up. And you can see it's going past the crack here. So we'll probably come past it like up to here, gouge it out all the way up there, and then just weld it the rest of the way. It shouldn't be too bad. It looks like 3/8, 1/4 inch, something like that. I'm not really sure. Honestly, this is probably a factory flaw. That's probably why it breaks right there. Probably from being bent right there, but no matter. We'll get it fixed. So the first thing we're gonna do is grind a spot for our ground. I like to make it close, so that way, you know, we're not sending electricity through this thing. So we're gonna be using these 1/8 inch Electra AAA airless gouging rods. I don't have air on the truck right now, and this is just a little job, perfect for these. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna blow these things out with these. I've used these a lot of times in the past. They work great, especially in a situation where you don't have air or you don't want to get the torch out or what have you. I just want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Rockmount. Weld stronger, last longer. You can see we had to open that thing up pretty wide because of what he did when he was welding it. If I'd got this thing initially, I wouldn't have to open up nearly that wide of a gap, but it is what it is at this point. So there's that side taken care of. It looks like we're almost all the way through the crack. I think I need to come up a little bit more. If you look right there, you can kind of still see it. Maybe we'll come up to about here, but we'll finish that and then go to the other side and do that side. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You can see if you know what you're doing with those airless gouging rods, they work pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up with a grinder, and then we will get ourselves a proper little bevel on it. We'll make it nice, and we'll go ahead and weld it up. All right, so we've got a nice even gap going all the way up. There's a little couple defects in it like that right there, but it's nothing we can't overcome. It looks really good. That's what you want your cracks to look like when you've cut them out. You'll get a good weld like that as long as you know how to weld now. So we'll be using some Polaris A from Rockmount today to weld this thing up. It's got 95,000 PSI. It's got exceptional elongation. It's really a great welding rod for crack repair. That's what I use my Rockmount stuff for, is mainly repairs. I don't really use it for anything but because it's just so damn expensive. But it's cheap insurance when it comes to a crack. You know, a couple of rods, you know, at probably double the price of 7018, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, if I don't have to come back out and reservice it, it's money well spent. So as you know, I got a 302 Trailblazer. We're at 225 amps from when I was gouging. We're gonna turn this down to 80. 81 is fine. And we got the dig all the way to soft on 7018. And this side, we have a nice clean bevel too, about an 1/8 inch land on either side. That looks pretty good. And again, it's all about being consistent with this. It'll make them for a more consistent weld. Some tips for you guys. You wanna make sure you get comfortable. Make sure that your stinger isn't gonna be hung up on anything when you start welding, because that's just gonna cost you more time. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's start getting this thing welded up. It also helps to do a couple of dry runs. That way you know how you want to be. I'm thinking that's it right there. If I turn my hand that way, it's not going to be good. See if I straighten the rod out. That's not too bad. I'd like to get my leg out of the way, but we got to make sure we're not going to hold up our welding lead with our leg. Yeah, that feels right there. And we can use this to post off of. I'm always looking for something to post my opposite hand off of, just to steady the rod, especially when it's at its full length. When it gets about halfway, you can pretty much freehand it. Well, I'm sure there's guys who can freehand the whole thing, but I'm better off to be posted up. It looks like 80 amps is a little too much. I'm gonna dial it down to 75. So we're starting to get it to hang in there, but even 75 amps might be too much. I'm getting too big of a keyhole, and I'm not able to push enough rod in there to compensate. Perfect, right there. She's going in just the way I want her to. All right, guys, there you go. There's the root. It doesn't look half bad. It's all the way through, that's for sure. I can feel it on the back. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna grind this thing down to where it's all even. Like I said, the more consistent what you're welding on is, the more consistent your weld is gonna be. So we'll grind this thing down. We're not gonna take it all the way down, just so it's flat. And then we're gonna turn our amperage up probably to about 80. I think 80 would make a good hot pass. Okay guys, there you go. Nice little clean repair. It's nice and tidy. No defects in it. So this one should be good. We'll move over to the other side and get that one done. All right guys, there it is. She should hold. It's defect free. It ain't winning no beauty shows, but it will stick together, especially on this little tractor here. I'm gonna write up a bill for this guy, clean up, and then move on to the next job for the day. This one's definitely got a nice view. We're right on the river on this job. I'm not sure if we're gonna do this one yet. I wasn't able to get a hold of the guy, but we're gonna come down here, we're gonna take a look at what he's got and see if it's something we can get done today. And if so, we'll give him a call again and tell him, hey, let's do this thing. Okay, so it looks like we are gonna take care of this one. And I also noticed these cracks in this piece here. So we'll gouge those out, weld those up. There is a lot of hydraulic components around this thing, and we don't want to cause more damage than, you know, the repair. There's also a lot of grease, good potential for a grease fire, but we should be good. It's all above me, it's not below me. If it was below me, I'd be a little more concerned. And yeah, this is the other thing that we have to fix. This is their main concern right here. Not 100% sure how it goes together, but I'll figure it out. So I figured out how it goes together. Pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy. We just need to basically grind it out, and then we'll go ahead and weld it on. Not a big deal. What I did notice is that this crane has almost no electrical components on it. Honestly, I don't think it has any. It's all just valves and hydraulics. So I'm not going to worry about searching the battery out for this truck and trying to disconnect it. It's kind of a waste of time in this instance because there's just no way that if I put the clamp on the boom itself, it's going to travel back down into the computer of the truck and fry it. So you got to know when to do things. You know, you got to really look at your surroundings, look at the piece of equipment, try to understand how it works, and that way you can get the best welding result. So let's go ahead. Let's start getting this thing prepped out. And yeah, it really shouldn't take too long. Pretty quick little repair, I think. I shouldn't say that. We know how things go when you say that. Okay, I figured out how this thing attaches. So we're just gonna quickly clean this up, put a bevel on it, knock this stuff off, clean it up, and then we'll come over to this side, bevel it, clean up there, and then re-weld it on. We're gonna go ahead and use Polaris A 3/32 on this one too. This is another good application for it. We're gonna weld this bad boy out.
One thing I've noticed with this Rockmount rod is it strikes off a lot easier than your typical 70-18.
Okay, so that's all welded back on. Again, no beauty shows, but she'll stick. Shouldn't break off again, especially with that rod that I'm using. All right, let's get over to the other one. We'll just use the grinder to cut this one out too, because it's in a nice open spot, and we'll cut that crack out right there and weld it back up. Okay, so you didn't miss much. I just took the die grinder in there, cut the crack out. As you can see, it's completely gone. Let me see if I can get it to focus. But you can see kind of why it cracked. There was some lack of fusion and other stuff going on. We got to try to get those metal chips out of there before we can weld this, but we are going to put a tartan B. It is a cellulose rod. A lot of guys will try to tell you not to use cellulose on any sort of crack repair. I only do it when I can't get to the back side of it, because you want to make sure that you're, fully penetrated for one, and for two, you want to make sure that you can clean all the grease out. Well, there's clearly grease in there. That's why the metal chips are sticking the way they are. So we're just going to use a cellulose rod to ensure that we have a clean root in our weld. And then we'll put a hot pass on it. It'll almost get burnt out when we put our low hydrogen rod, which is the Polaris A, and it'll be okay. It'll be perfectly fine. I've done this for over 10 years, never had an issue. So that is as clean as I can get it. As you can see, it's 3 pieces of metal. I don't know what's going on in there. I can't really gouge it any deeper. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay that tartan B root in there, try to combine all that. Hopefully the flux brings everything up to the surface. But yeah, we're just gonna do our best on this one. This is a difficult little crack because of the spot. And you can tell this was welded before. It really got the shit bowed out of it. I don't know if that's from it not being held on there right or what happened, but the rest of the welds look good. They look like they're not cracked, so we're just gonna leave those, and we'll get that guy all welded out.
Here I'm thinking about my body position. I'm considering how my body position is going to affect the weld and adjusting accordingly. I couldn't fit the wire wheel in there, so I'm using the die grinder instead to knock the slag off.
there you go. There's our first pass with the Polaris A. Sorry I didn't show you the roots, I forgot. But we'll go ahead, weave a few more passes in, and I think she'll be good to go.
Another unique property of this Polaris A welding rod is you can drop it in a puddle, pick it up, and then go right to welding with it without any defects, unlike other hydrogen rods.
Okay, there she is. We got some fucking grease burning off for sure. So we'll stick around for a few minutes, make sure we don't set the machine on fire. But yeah, it looks pretty good. A lot better than what it was, that's for sure. So that should hold on for a good long time. And so should that one over there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get a bucket full of water just in case, and I'm gonna clean up. Luckily, like I said earlier, the river is right there, so I'll just grab a bucket from there and wait until it cools a little bit and just splash some water on it. Well, unfortunately, guys, my phone will not charge, so I'm gonna have to end the video here. You got to see 2 repairs, you won't see the third. It's just a hitch replacement on a trailer, not a big deal. I've done dozens of them, I think, online, so refer to the other ones if you want to see that. Anyway, guys, if you like what you saw here today, like, subscribe, share, do the whole 9 for your boy. And remember, if you didn't like it, go fuck yourself.